Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. It's a brisk morning out here. Fall is definitely starting to roll in across the country. We've got falling water temperatures. We've got less daylight throughout the day. In some places, we've had a ton of rain based on the hurricane. So you got rising water. All of this is leading to a lot of fish that are in transition. You got fish going from summer into fall. Can lead to some difficult fishing, but I've got for you 5 types of cover and structure to look for that will definitely give you an advantage during the fall period, and it'll increase the number of bites that you're getting.
Today's video is brought to you by the Deep Dive app, which will help you select the best fishing places in the lake with features like the lake level, the current flow, the top baits tool, which will help you select the best baits for certain locations throughout the lake. Whether that's a clear water, stained water, dirty water, it'll choose the best bait for that location, provide you with all the information like what structure, what retrieve, different reel, all of the information that you need to catch the fish. This is in the app. The cool part about this app, though, is it's not just based on areas. It does provide you with specific tournament winning data that has been collected to help you figure out your best choices for baits and locations for whatever region of the lake it is that you want to fish. On top of that, not only does the app provide you with best locations, it gives you water clarity as well. So maybe you're on a lake like Lake Eufaula, where there is a bunch of different water clarity located throughout the entire lake. This will help you identify the clearest portions as well as the dirtiest portions of the lake. Plus, the Deep Dive app has now added the wind effect map, which is going to take all of the different wind conditions for the past couple of days and show you what banks on the lake are being hit the hardest. They also have inflow points that show you different places throughout the lake where your water is being flushed into the lake through different ditches and creeks and rivers, providing you with high percentage places to fish and letting you know what parts of the lake are going to be the best areas after a rain. Check out the Deep Dive app to help you become a better angler.
So, the first key piece of cover and structure that I'm going to look for are your points. Both primary and secondary points are such a huge player during the fall period, and it all has to do with their great stopping grounds for transitional fish. They're also areas that generally come in contact with the highways that these fish are using, whether they're contour lines or creek channel swings. The point is, you're going to have a lot of fish that are swimming from one area, move into the next, and your points become great feeding areas, as well as just areas that the fish are swimming through. When you find a good point, primary or secondary point that the fish are using, you will have new fish coming to you all day long. So it's a key type of cover to look for. And you got to remember, you've got a lot of fish that are moving from main lake areas to the backs of creeks. So both primary and secondary points are going to be a huge player. It's generally one of the first pieces of cover that I look for to have a good outing on the water during the fall transitional period. The second thing that I look for are any of your really good hard targets that are in these stopping grounds or in these transitional routes. So if you've got your lay down trees, maybe you've got isolated docks, maybe you've got a big boulder. I'm really looking for hard targets that the fish are going to swim by as they're moving from one location to the next. So generally, if you can find a good lay down tree on a 45-degree bank or a channel swing bank, those are the types of areas that when the fish are migrating, they're going to stop there and they're going to wait there for a bait ball to swim by, and they'll ambush them. And that'll be a really good spot for them to feed as well as continue on their journey. And not to mention that they also generally hold more heat. So when you're talking about a time period when you have falling water temperatures, the fish still like to move to some of these hard targets because they'll retain heat as well as they're traveling back into some of these shallower areas to feed up on the shad migration and the bait fish migration. So I really like my hard targets as well. Another thing that I love to fish, and this doesn't matter if you're on a reservoir or a natural lake, are your contour line changes off of flats. So if I've got a flat that's got a really steep contour line, meaning a really steep drop off the edge of it, where that drop off, if you find a drop off that tapers off, so you have a contour line change from really steep to more tapered, those are areas I love to fish because that change generally gives the bass a good place to kind of herd the bait fish and funnel them into that steeper uh, contour line, which gives them a good feeding opportunity. And it's a great location for all the species of bass. In fact, it's not uncommon to find a good group of fish that are using a contour line change, and you might catch a smallmouth on one cast, the next cast you catch a largemouth. It just, all the bass species will use it, and it really comes in to play in the fall period. Very, very good transitional area. It's also really good in the pre-spawn as well. Most of these spots, most of your good fall locations are really good pre-spawn locations as well, because instead of the fish right now swimming, from one direction in the fall, they'll be swimming the opposite direction in the pre-spawn. So I definitely look for my good contour line changes. Another thing that I definitely look for are just good rock banks. The rock tends to hold heat again. Generally, a lot of times when you're talking about rock, you've got either good water flow or you've got good contour line change again, where you have, just a good steep drop off, or you have maybe a rock flat and then it drops off. But generally speaking, your areas that have good rock are because you have some sort of contour line change. But the key is that rock holds a lot of good heat. It still draws a lot of bait fish to them, and the rocks will hold up all the way into the winter period. So I'm definitely always looking for rock over any other sort of bottom composition. And then lastly, you got to find the bait. Or you don't have to, but a bait is one of the keys that you can find without really having anything else. Now, a lot of your bait are going to be moving, following your contour lines. So again, whether that's a natural lake or a reservoir with a creek channel, they're going to be moving back following those areas. But you have a lot of bass that get suspended and they follow strictly the bait. They become very nomadic. And because of that, you can catch a lot of fish just looking for bait balls in themselves. And that's when you can find a lot of good schooling activity as well. So I definitely almost view bait fish, your bait balls, more of a structure at this time than I do some of the other times of the year, because the bass will strictly relate to them. But if you can identify these areas during the fall period, the fall transitional period, you can catch a lot of fish. These are definitely, in my opinion, high percentage areas. I'm sure there's a few others. If you guys are watching and you want to throw them up in the comment section, please do that. But if you're looking to get out and catch a few fish during the fall transition period, check these areas out, and I assure you they will lead to more bites for you. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned. We'll have a new video coming out tomorrow.